Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy Monday to you and yours. It is August 11th, 2025. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It's a victory Monday after the Buccaneers 29-7 win over to the Tennessee Titans. It sure as hell ain't a victory Monday because of whatever the hell happened with the Tampa Bay Rays over the weekend, but we'll get to that momentarily. It's Bucks heavy today. We should be very happy from what we saw at Raymond James Stadium on Saturday night. As always, want to hear from you. Questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. Let me know your thoughts about any of the topics we're talking about today. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. If you want to chime in via the video chat, here is the link there on the screen. You can join via the phone or your laptop, streamyard.com/TSSK7WCABT. Shout out to Bart and DT and Benny and the entire crew chiming in here early on the program. This show is going to get hot and heavy as we get going here in football season. I feel like so many times when people have shows, when it comes to sports, everybody's so reliant on football for their content, even when there's a lot of other great things going on. And I just think it's lazy. I really do. But when it's football season, when there's actually really good things to talk about, I love sinking my teeth into it, because I think at times people look at me personally and they say, man, well, you do so much with hockey and you coach baseball and all these things, and think like, all right, I don't pay attention to football as much. I sure as hell do. I watch a lot of football, college and pro, but it's just one of the many things that I watch. So it doesn't mean that I like it any less. It's just, just another option on the menu for me, and I love it. And preseason week 1, plenty to get into there. But man, really, really good stuff. And I want to shout out Chan Leonard. Thanks for giving me a reason to come back to my old hometown to watch the Bucks. Let's clap it up for our guy, Chan Leonard, who won our tickets last week to go watch the game. Buccaneers and Titans. That was really, really cool. And shout out the reason why we got our tickets. Our good friends over at the Honest Hammer Custom Builders. Go check them out, 813-244-0956. Scan the QR code right there. My pal Russ and the folks over there at Honest Hammer, those guys are the best. They really are. You have any type of construction needs, give them a shout, 813-244-0956. And a big thank you to Russ and the crew for the Buccaneers tickets that we gave away on the show last week. And Chan Leonard was our beneficiary there, and he's chiming in with the Super Chat, $10. Thank you so much. If you guys want to donate the Super Chat, that's how we're going to keep this thing rolling. The Super Chats and the sponsors. Chan, you're the man. Hope you had a good time, my friend. Man, how about, though? There you go. Honest Hammer in the house. Yeah, what a game to go to. What a game to go to. I just thought it got better and better as the game went on. A shutout in the second half. We'll get into that here momentarily. Our guy, Ian Beckles, is going to join us at 12:30 today, as he does every Monday. And it's always fun to talk to Ian pretty much all year round. But once we get into football season, it is a ton. It is a ton of fun to be able to talk a little bit about everything. So what did Ian see? And that's what I like about chatting with Ian is you're going to hear the normal stuff. You're going to hear, the stuff that everybody regurgitates time and time again. But Ian has a different perspective, as evidenced by our chat about Desmond Watson a couple of weeks ago. Going to do the same thing with him every single week. And Des didn't play. He was out there at practice day. And it's kind of weird, like with the whole Desmond Watson situation. It's kind of low-hanging fruit when it comes to him. Anytime you post a picture or you post a video about him, it goes viral because he's just, as Ian has said, it's kind of turned into like a circus sideshow, freak show kind of thing. Because he's not even doing anything when we're there anymore. He's not even like walking around like we saw early on in camp. He's just standing around. Doesn't seem like he's losing any weight. I hope he's okay, but it's a weird situation. And again, I'd be very surprised if he was still around this team come the regular season, because you don't see much improvement. You don't see him losing any weight. You don't see him even like when we saw him walking barefoot a couple of weeks ago. You just don't see that anymore. So I hope the best for the kid. Just doesn't look too good. Your thoughts on the Buccaneers game on Saturday night? Again, questions, comments, concerns, leave them there at the bottom of the screen. And if you want to call, the video line is right there, StreamYard.com/TSSK 7WCABT. Feel free to get in on the conversation there. Benny asked me how I'm feeling. I'm feeling better. My voice doesn't necessarily say that, but there you go. I'm feeling, definitely my spirits are good. My body feels better, but my voice is kind of taking the turn for the worse today. Not great if you host a podcast, but I'll power through. I should be fine. Adam Cartwright, it might be misguided, but I feel like UF failed that young man a little bit. I mean, I get it, Adam, and you may not be wrong with that, but at this point in his life, he's got to take control of this situation. It's on him now, because now he's with an NFL team that has opened their doors to him. And when he went away and came back, he didn't lose any weight. So at the end of the day, like, you can place the blame on other people all you want, but I mean, he's got to take onus of that. He's got to make sure that he takes care of himself, because at the end of the day, it's his life. He's in control. Jay got the fresh haircuts, just suited and booted. No, man, I got the hat, the shorts. I'm just chilling. I got my normal training camp stuff on today with my, what are these, ducks? Yeah, these are swans. These are swans on here. Swan, baby. All right, so we'll go over Bucks. We'll go over Rays. I know it just says, how about the Gators? 15th in the AP Top 25 preseason poll, 5 spots behind Miami. Texas, number 1, FSU unranked. Shout out to our guy, Joey Knight. So great to see him back on social media. He's been dealing with stuff with cancer. It just sucked, man. It sucks that he's been battling, man. Our guy Joey Knight from the Tampa Bay Times. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Coming out, tweeting stuff out today about college football. That is a really good thing to see. All right, guys. Here's what I want to get into. It's what I want to start with today. There are signs that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, but signs certainly in the last 48 hours that tell me that this Bucs squad is going to be a damn good football team. And you guys know me, I lean optimistic over pessimistic, but I think I'm more realistic when it comes to just kind of the totality of how I assess things. I mean, just look at how I've been pretty honest about my displeasure when it comes to how the Rays have went about their business this year. I don't think it's any surprise to me they are where they're at right now. When it came to the offseason for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I've been very vocal. I still think they need to do more. But when it comes to this Bucs team, man, just watching them, they're one of the better teams in the National Football League. And I'm going to tell you why. First thing was practice today. There was a snap to it. I really enjoyed watching it. And it was different today because it was just the media. First practice with all the stands up, no media, and no fans, just media. And we're able to sit. This is like one of the most unique days in training camp because all of the bleachers are still up. So we just kind of we're walking around and we can sit in multiple places and you get a really interesting vantage point. And you get to see the whole practice. When the season starts, we don't get to see the whole practice. Today, we're allowed to video kind of the first 20 to 30 minutes. Then we're not allowed to really do anything else as far as tweeting until after the fact. But when you're watching this team, excuse me. There we go. Woo! That was a good call. Sometimes you just need that. Woo! All right. No, it wasn't a sneeze. It was a cough. So, but bless me anyway. Thank you. So we get an interesting vantage point being at practice day with no people there, just the media. And you're watching it, and I'm always looking for telltale signs of how teams respond to certain things. How do they respond to wins, losses, long breaks off, back-to-backs, injuries, coaching changes? I wanted to see what this Buccaneers team was going to look like today after the preseason win on Saturday night with a bunch of their starters not going. And when I'm watching these guys, I can just tell there was a snap, there was an attention to detail, there was all right, let's build on this. Instead of hey, look, we got to win, let's ease into this week of practice. It was none of that. I really, really enjoyed what I saw out there today. And there was even some point where Todd, in the middle of practice, kind of broke everything down, or brought everybody together. And he talked to him and he said, like, hey, attention to detail, focus on the little things. And you enjoy that stuff because I thought they were practicing well. It's one thing to take time off of practice when things are going wrong, things are going awry, and you're like, all right, what the hell's going on here? But when things are going kind of well, like I always think I like that. I like when a coach is kind of a little bit easy when the team's not playing good, and then when they are playing well, be a little bit harder on them, which is the opposite of what most coaches do. When things go wrong, you see people freaking out on the sideline. When things go well, it's like, oh yeah, everybody's jubilant. I really like the tenor of this football team, and I love the way they came out to practice today. Another reason why I think this is going to be a damn good football team this year. The next man up mentality. It's so cliche, isn't it? You hear the same shit over and over and over again. But when teams do it, I mean, there's just nothing that replaces it. Because your roster is filled with good players. And we'll talk more about the depth in a second. Whether it's Kyle Trask in for Baker, Charlie Heck filling in for Tristan Wirfs, or how about the job that Owen Wright did on Saturday night? That guy came out of nowhere. Who the hell knew who Owen Wright was going into that game? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you're raising your hand, you're either lying or you're a diehard Bucs fan. He comes out, and this kid's balling. He doesn't practice today because he played more than he probably thought on Saturday. Then Josh Williams, the undrafted running back out of LSU that Todd Bowles and everybody likes, he had a hell of a practice today. So Rashad goes down. Sean Tucker and Owen Wright step up. Owen Wright can't go today. Obviously, Bucky's back in there to practice Sean Tucker. Josh Williams looked good running the football. Update on Rashad White. Todd Bowles, and we'll hear from Todd here in a second, said that Rashad White's day-to-day with that groin injury. We saw him walking out to practice a little bit late today. But even though he wasn't like walking fast, he wasn't walking like really, really slow either. When I look at a guy like Bryce Hall, the corner, he had a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up. And we know what happened last year when he broke his leg in week 1. So we're hoping that it's not long-term for him. But there was a discernible difference between him and a guy like Rashad White. So hopefully those guys will be back sooner rather than later. I mentioned the depth. The depth looks much better, doesn't it? I mean, Ryan Miller and Garrett Green, solid as hell. They'll find a way defensively. You look at J.J. Roberts and Nick Jackson and Ron Parade. I mean, look at all these guys. I mean, that's the hallmark of a good team. Next man up mentality, the depth, you just keep going down the line of players that make plays. I mean, I know you can't always tell when you're looking at the preseason. All right, well, it's just a preseason game. Look at the competition, how many starters are playing. I get that, but you can't ignore when guys play well either. it doesn't necessarily translate to the, the regular season. It doesn't mean they're going to be like this great player. I understand that, but you'd rather see them play well than not play well, right? I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm a big fan at how they threw a shutout there in the second half. And when you watch this team, there's just so many different contributors that step up to the plate. And it's not just in the preseason opener. You see them practice every single day. And today, with a bunch of those outside corners out, you're seeing guys like Vildor make plays and Tyreek Funderburg making plays and Wisdom making plays and Mayweather. I mean, just everybody out there making plays. I mean, it's just, what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. That's what we're seeing with this Bucs team. There's just fewer and fewer guys that are standing out in a bad way. And we'll get into that a little bit later on about guys that I don't even want to say are playing bad, but just not as good as some of these others. Good and not so good. The other thing, kind of going into that, there's a semblance of iron sharpening iron with this team. So many times in practice, you see a good play on one side of the ball, and then the other side of the ball answers. Today, Luke Gedeke had one of the most impressive reps that I saw all training camp against Hassan Reddick, where it was just, Hassan Reddick's a damn good pass rusher. And he got stonewalled so bad by Luke Gedeke. It looked like he wasn't even trying. And that's a lot, right? Considering who he's going against. But we know it here. We know it here in the Tampa Bay area, how good Luke Gedeke is. I really hope he's a guy that gets more national love this season because he has been incredible. And I'm still so impressed. Left guard to right tackle. You shouldn't be able to do that. Our guy Greg DeCruz, depth on full display. Remember, they're probably playing one of the worst teams. Still encouraging. Yeah, why not? I mean, I get it. They were the number one overall pick last year for a reason, but you still got to take care of business. Chan Leonard, I don't care if it's preseason, the Pro Bowl, winning begets winning, and the associated attitude, but to pour a bit of cold water on things, we lack depth at QB. Sorry, Trask, not scoring TDs. Yeah, a couple of penalties kind of took him back as well. That's why I have Teddy Bridgewater. But how about Kyle Trask being able to step up and really play well ever since they brought Teddy Bridgewater in here? It was a kick in the ass, and he's responded in kind. So good for him. It's all about the response. And we'll talk more about another guy that I think has responded in a big way so far this year. So many people think that when it comes to sports, when it comes to life, everything's going to be easy and smooth sailing. And you want the perfect setup. You want everything to fall. And that's not the way it goes, guys. That's not the way it goes. You got to battle. You got to struggle. You got to deal with some shit that maybe other people don't have to deal with. You have to roll with the punches. You got to take the high road. You got to bite your tongue. There's just so many things you have to do. Progress isn't 3 steps forward and 3 steps forward and 3 steps forward. Sometimes it's 3 forward, 4 back, 3 forward, 2 back, 3 forward, 1 back. It's just the way it goes. The perseverance, the ability to overcome the obstacles. And I mean, look at football. I mean, so many different journeys to get to the same place. So many people from so many different backgrounds. The teams that can block out that outside noise and not worry about the BS and just continuously push forward, that's the team that's going to be standing at the end. I mentioned about iron sharpening iron and Luke Gedeke with the flawless pass block of Hassan Reddick. Here comes Elijah Roberts, the rookie, on the other side, making a tremendous move to sack the would-be quarterback. Fantastic. I really like that kid. He pops. Every single time I watch him, that kid pops. The other thing, and I got a couple more. It's great to have a lot of reasons why you think the team's a damn good team, right? The coaching staff has a finger on the pulse of this entire team. Bowles joking around with Chase McLaughlin about dad jokes. They give veterans the day off at the right time. They kind of let the players police themselves. When you watch this team, and this, again, guys, when you're thinking about making coaching changes and when you're thinking about making moves in any sport, this is one of those things where it only comes with experience. It only comes with a veteran coach. I understand sometimes you need a fresh voice. I understand sometimes you want to change things up. But when you do that, You run the risk of not having this. A coaching staff, not just Todd Bowles, a coaching staff with the finger on the pulse of this team. One of the big reasons why I didn't want to move on from Todd is because there's no question about decisions that are made, about who's the leaders. Dissension in the locker room just doesn't happen. Think about it. Shiloh Sanders, Desmond Watson, two of the most talked about undrafted free agents in the game. They're both on the same team. They're both the Buccaneers, both with a team that has won 4 division titles, and with a team where the coach, nor the players, nor the GM is worried about distractions or outside noise. They're so confident in their ability to keep things in-house and to bring people on board that are going to either be part of the solution or they're gone. I love that. And there's also like no rah-rah BS fake energy with this team. It's so authentic. And they're the perfect mix of Bowles and Baker. Todd's stoic demeanor and professionalism, and Baker's wild child play like your hair is on fire. Like, it's a tremendous balance. Love the balance with this team. And speaking of Todd spoke earlier today at the Avon Training Center at One Buccaneer Place. Let's hear what Todd had to say about Rachaad White, about the team, and about practice today. And it's getting to the point of like, all right, we're asking the same questions over and over and over again. So it isn't as long as some of the other chats with Todd, but he spoke for about 3.5 minutes. Here is what he had to say. Here's head coach Todd Bowles at the Evan Hill Training Center today at One Buccaneer Place.
Just emphasizing small things, obviously, practice and sliders, a little different practice than pads, and we just got to understand that going in.
How do you seem to get injuries and clusters sometimes? If you're down 3 outside corners right now, any of those heads, did they have to be long term right now?
We'll see. I hope not, but we'll see. Obviously, the corner spot runs a lot, and a couple got mixed up in the game, so we'll see how long they're.
Coach, is it safe to say that this is the week that you guys are preparing to, as if the starters are going to play in the preseason?
I prepare like that every week. Some of the guys will play, some of them won't.
You said you weren't sure which of the 2 remaining games would be the one where they play the most. Do you think that's likely to be this one Saturday?
Depends on practice Thursday, and then how much we can get done, and how much we can get done Saturday to determine next week.
What you think of Teddy today?
I got to go back and watch the tape. I mean, he threw the ball well in pregame and warm up. I'm busy watching everything else, so I have to spend the season.
Do you have any update or prognosis on the shot?
Just got to grind each day to day.
How do you get Josh Williams back out there? He's somebody that we heard a lot about early in camp. How excited are you to maybe see him and he'll be out there on Saturday?
It's important for him to get out there. We got to see him. It would be great to see him under the lights. He's missing time right now, so we've got some catching up to do. He's a guy we were high on coming in, so he's a guy we're interested in seeing Saturday night.
We saw Owen Wright out. Was that just precautionary because he took the bulk of the carries yesterday, or what's his prognosis?
He took the bulk of the carries, just a little slower, so we'll see how he feels at the end of the week.
It's not that sometimes you have guys that make plays late in the second half or late in the preseason game. Are there anything in particular that you saw plays from Saturday that you want to get in the game earlier, the second game to see how they do against better competition?
No, I mean, we have a system where we play guys, and they'll get that chance coming up, and we get a better competition in practice as well, so they get to go against everybody. That doesn't change how they play. You know, if you make plays in practice, you make them in the game, and a couple guys made some plays late, but they've been practicing well too.
I think we mentioned this, but Riley Dixon obviously had a pretty good first game playing for you. When you got that settled, you had a good chase, right? As a field goal kicker. How much better is it for you to sleep at night knowing that that's a weapon that you can use in a good position? It's not going to get a problem.
It's a very good comfort knowing that you have a punter that can flip the field and change field positions for you, and they're not starting at midfield or anything like that. Obviously, we got to cover, but you know he's been a welcome addition. He places it right, he hangs it, and he puts it deep. So you know that's a big plus for us going forward.
How important is it to have, I guess, just consistent, reliable? Last year was a tough year for you, no matter who you had as a punter, but to have some consistency there.
It'll be a breath of fresh air for me this year.
And there you go. Head Coach Todd Bowles speaking today, and it's, we're getting to the end of camp, right? So it's you're starting to, it's the same stuff over and over and over again. So, well. But Rachaad White day to day, something to certainly keep an eye on, that's for sure. Are they going to have to sign another running back? Maybe. It's not just running the football, man. It's about knowing the routes. It's about pass protection. It's about picking up the blitzes, right? So that's something to certainly be mindful of. And the last thing about why this is why I think this is going to be a damn good football team. Michael Lynn Evans III. He's still absolutely incredible. I mean, every day, this guy's got such a great attitude, and any given day, he's the best player on the field. And not just because he's more experienced, just because he is. It's not flashes of brilliance either, or greatness that make you go, oh, what a play by Mike. That's like, turning back the clock with that one. That's how he used to look. No, he doesn't look like a shell of himself. That's him. He's still balling and still making plays. And he was one of the best players of practice again today. I mean, on a damn good football team too. This isn't like, all right, well, he's standing out above the rest because there's not a lot of other talented players on the field. There is a ton of talented football players on this Bucs team. And a ton of guys that practice great today. And Mike Evans stands out amongst the rest. I mean, he's going to be 32 on August 21st. And he looks like the same guy. He's incredible. Love his disposition. I love the way that he talks to his teammates before the reps, after the reps. He practices his ass off. He's always available to the media and to other players on the team, offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. I just think about it, like, we're going to miss the hell out of that guy when he's gone. We are, because he's just a model of consistency. He's not a high-end guy where he does all of these great things and then you come back down to earth and he's like, oh, well, he's not good in this area. He's not good. He's just the metronome. He's the model of consistency with this team. And in the NFL, 1,000 yards every single freaking year he's been in the league. Mind-numbing. Mike Evans is just, he's the perfect example of this team. They practice at a high level. They play at a high level. And he's one of the top reasons why, when you look at him and you look at this team, why they're going to be a damn good football team in 2025. You look at Mike Evans. He's not showing any signs of slowing down. And I know it's a long season. You're playing 17 games, but you got Emeka Egbuka. You're going to get Godwin back. You have Jalen McMillan. A lot of other young wide receivers that are stepping up to the plate. But, man, Mike Evans, man, number 13, not showing any signs of slowing down. It's a joy to watch that guy go to work. And when he catches the ball down the sideline and he runs back and he hustles back into the huddle, it's just like, it's effortless. It's effortless. And it's not effortless because he's not trying. It's effortless because he knows exactly what to do. His footwork is phenomenal. His hands have gotten better over the years. And again, he does it with a smile on his face. He's a great teammate. He's a leader. He's one of the greatest Buccaneers of all time. No doubt about it. I mean, some people think he's the greatest Buccaneer of all time. I mean, if he wins another Super Bowl, it's going to be hard to say no. We have some incredible players on the defensive side with Brooks and Sapp and Barber and Lynch and Leroy. And, we had Tom Brady here for a couple of years. But, man, I mean, he's just been such a model of consistency. And you can't write the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without Mike Evans. He's been that impactful. Jason Light's first draft pick. I mean, you think about it. Jason Light's first draft pick set the tone for this entire franchise. And I know he went through some times of losing and craziness, but it wasn't because of Mike. But he was the guy that Jason Light planted his flag in the ground and said, this is the guy right here that is going to start what I think this team is going to be all about. And look at how many years later Mike Evans is still out there balling. Not balling for a 31-year-old. Balling. All right, it's that time of the week. We're going to bring him in, our good pal, the one and only Ian Beckles, the president of the Mangled Finger Fan Club. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
The who fan club?
The Mangled Finger Club.
I'm not the president. That's Booger McFarland.
Oh, no, it's Brian Baldinger.
Yeah, Baldy has the worst finger I've seen, but Booger's got a nasty one too, though.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
We're chilling here at the cafe, man. Did the Mike Calter show this morning.
Nice.
Chambo football. You know, we got kind of a little exhibition game on Friday that can't say I'm looking forward to.
Why not?
We ain't ready. We ain't ready. Bro. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I haven't even put my starting line together yet, and we have a game on Friday, so I'm not sure it's going to be all that pretty, to be honest with you. It doesn't count, though.
You'll have them ready, though. As ready as they're going to be, right?
Yeah, well, I'll give you that, but I don't know how ready that is.
Who y'all playing?
Wharton.
Wharton. So last couple of times you've been here, and David Terry said, Captain Beck, man, looking young, shaved up. You keeping the beard down tight these last couple of weeks, my man.
Yeah, you know, I somebody said, when's the last time you cut the beard off? I think it might have been a couple of years. So
yeah, I remember it. Yeah,
I've had the beard for quite a while. So I tripped people out for a first. People were just staring at me, not even thinking beard. They were just looking at me like, God, you lost a lot of weight. So I don't actually have to lose weight. I just have to cut my beard, and I look sleek. You know,
it's not as shocking as the Pat Donovan shave. I'll tell you that
sir.
much.
No. Let's not go there again. No.
Shout out to our guy Chan Leonard donating with the super chat $5 as a Chamberlain graduate. This chief appreciates Ian. Chan Leonard, thank you very much, man. Appreciate that very much. Buccaneers preseason opener. I know the win is the win. It is what it is. But first thing that jumps off the page to you after watching that game Saturday night.
Nothing could jump off the page in a preseason game for me. I don't allow that to happen. Now, as a Buccaneer fan, I watch it and I go, you know what? I'm not a nitpicky guy, but the offense looked somewhat crisp. Okay. I'm just going to let everybody know out there, okay? Your first preseason game, your coaches will even say, I don't give a rat's ass if we win this game. Let's just look crisp. Okay, let's look like we've been coached. Let's not jump off sides. Let's not line up off sides. Let's not have a bunch of missed assignments. I didn't see stuff like that. So I don't know if I'm an outsider or insider, but as a Buccaneer fan watching, there's nothing I saw in that game that made me go, oh boy. So, and there's nothing in that game that made me go, oh, here we go either. So, you know, I watched the first preseason game like it doesn't matter, because it really doesn't.
What do you have to say about a guy like Kyle Trask? It seems like he really kind of stepped it into gear now that Teddy Bridgewater came on board, and Kyle looked much better in practice day than Teddy did, and that's normal. I mean, he's been with the team for the last couple of months, but what does that say about a guy like Kyle Trask, where, you know, might kind of up and down during training camp a little bit, but man, this bringing Teddy has seemed to light a fire under his ass, and I thought he played pretty well on Saturday night.
Yeah, okay, but I would say this. Is it crazy to say, was it in his fifth year?
Fifth, yeah. I think fifth now.
Is it crazy to say that a fifth-year quarterback should look good in the first preseason game against backups? I think that should happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if he looked bad, it'd be time to say you got to go.
Yeah.
So that's the way he should have looked in that situation. And they didn't bring in Teddy Bridgewater just because of Trask, okay? Because your third quarterback sometimes ends up being important, okay? It does happen. And if something happened to Baker Mayfield, you can't go into the season with just Kyle Trask. So I'm not talking down Kyle Trask, but he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he was the guy, we'd have seen him already. So I don't like to waste too many, you know, adjectives on Kyle Trask, because I think when it comes down to him, I think we're in trouble anyways.
Why do you think they brought in Teddy Bridgewater?
Insurance. I think, a Teddy Bridgewater, I think is just a nice kid to have on your team
Yeah,
anyways.
he's just a good guy to have around
That's
at
it.
the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not even even if he was a coach, he just, like, when I hear Teddy Bridgewater speak, I get excited. Like, he just seems like a good kid,
Mhm.
been through a lot. Um, everybody seems to embrace him all the time. Kyle Trask, maybe we could say he can be a good backup. I don't know if I can say that with a straight face. Never
We don't
really
know.
seen him play.
Yeah, we
We
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
But I do know this. What is he going to add to Baker Mayfield? Like, what knowledge is he going to help Baker with?
Let me ask you about that, because this is one of the points of contention I had a couple of years ago when you look at a guy like Blaine Gabbert when he was backing up Brady, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Blaine Gabbert, he's playing better and practicing better than Kyle Trask." And I go, I don't think that's necessarily how it works. I think Tom Brady likes coming off the field and going, "Blaine, you're a former first round pick. You started in this league for the Jags. What did you see that I didn't see?" He's not going to get that from Kyle Trask. And
Right.
I don't think Baker's getting that from Kyle Trask now, but he can go to Teddy and be like, "Hey, cover 2, cover 3. What did I miss there?" Do you agree with that? That it's for the backup spot sometimes, especially with a veteran quarterback, sometimes it's more of a sounding board rather than just a guy that's necessarily better than the third guy?
I don't think that's debatable, Jay, to be honest with you. Like, you could ask somebody a question that's never started in the NFL, but if a starting quarterback's not going to listen to you, because it's a different fraternity now. It's way different. Like, listen, you've heard how I've spoken about Mike Lennon before. Okay, I think Mike Lennon was one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the history. I just don't think he was very good. I don't think he's a starting quarterback. Is he a good backup?
A lot of neck.
Yep, but he's a good backup.
Great neck.
Yep. I mean, all-star neck. But as a backup, we know that Mike Lennon has been on the NFL field, made mistakes as a starter, and has also been in, second string to a lot of great players. He's learned a lot. Kyle Trask has learned a lot, but he still hasn't been in battle, man. You have to be the battle part's important, and you have to have had some success. And
you can't replicate that, can you?
It's impossible.
You can't replicate that.
Nope. Because everybody thinks they know until they have to find out. Right. And Trask has never been in that situation. And Jay, I've said this many times. There's a lot of people who back up for many years. Many. I've seen even linemen. 5 years you back up, then there's an injury, then you have to play, and you know what you find out? You can't play. So I just don't know if Kyle Trask can play it or not. And listen, we live in Gator land, and I still hear people saying Kyle Trask never got his chance. Yeah, because he's not that damn good. He's not that damn good.
No. Somebody who is good, and I just want to get your perspective on this because I think sometimes he gets glossed over because there's so many other things to talk about. Brother, I'm at practice today, and you know who the best player at practice was today? And it was a good practice.
I'm going to say the best player at practice today was Shiloh Sanders.
No.
Best player in practice today,
offensive,
was Igbuka. Give me a hint.
What's the easy answer?
Baker Mayfield?
Who's he throw the ball to?
Oh, you're talking Mike Evans?
Brother, I mean, I'm watching him and I'm going, he's getting separation. He's making contested catches. He's doing everything. He caught a pass in between 4 defenders today. He jumped up and caught one. He dusted past Zion it would have been a 70-yard touchdown. I'm thinking to myself, he's not good just because he's 31. He's not good just because he's a good guy on a bad team. He's not good because it's like, oh, it's me and you, a flash of brilliance, like the JTS flashes. Bro, he's still the best player on the team. Like, he's going to be 32 in 10 days. Like, I don't want to say, I don't think we take him for granted here, but how difficult, I have trouble wrapping my head around it because you and I speak a lot about guys don't get healthier when they get older. We even spoke about our top 3 Buccaneers on the team right now. We're like, well, Mike, you would think he's 1,000 yards every single year. And then he comes out and he's still practicing like a guy that's 25. I mean, what can you honestly say about Mike Evans that hasn't already been said? It's amazing.
You know who Mike Evans is in Bizarro World? Desmond Watson. Okay? So what I said about Desmond Watson, and you know what's funny? I remember you asking me, "Are you offended?" And I said no. Then I came back, I go, you know what? Yes, I am offended because from that point, I've had 20 other people ask me
I know.
about Desmond Watson, and I'm like, isn't this funny? Nobody's asked me about Kalijah Kancey. Nobody's asked me about Vita Vea. Nobody's asked me about our new rush end.
Because
Nobody's asking.
because you had a good take.
But no, what do you think about Desmond? I go, you mean the fat kid that's on the side moving around garbage bins? That's all he's doing. Now, here, let me flop it now. Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the ultimate pro, okay? We're not talking about a good pro, great pro. I'm talking the ultimate pro, Michael Jordan, I'm like odds category type cat, okay? There's a reason why he's this deep in his career. He's still playing. He's still shining. Right now is the best Mike Evans you're going to see this year. And this is not knocking him. Mike Evans is going to come into the season in the best shape he possibly can be because he knows what this season's going to take, okay? Now, right now is the best Mike Evans because he ain't caught no licks, okay? He hasn't caught any licks yet because, like in my 9th year, when I got to training camp, I'm like, God, I'm in great shape. I feel great. My wind is great. Everything, my body feels great until you get in the camp. You catch a couple licks, and then the old aches and pains come. So right now, he's not caught a lick. Okay, so in week 4, 6, 8, all those other injuries creep back up. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a different Mike Evans in week 10. Okay, that's just the evolution of life. So right now you're seeing a Mike Evans that prepared himself for a 17-week battle of just catching licks. So this is the best Mike Evans you're going to see this year.
We know Mike is not ever afraid to back down from a challenge. We know of his history with guys like Marshawn Lattimore, and he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. But the one thing I've noticed with Mike Evans, and listen, I've been to 11 training camps now, is there's such a high respect factor from players on other teams and also players on the Buccaneers. Like, he catches a pass today and he runs down the left sideline, like in the middle of all the defensive players. And he wasn't running by them talking shit. He was running by them like to get back to the thing. And there were guys that literally like went out of their way to dap him up. Like, not on like, kiss the ring shit. Like, well, that was a nice play, but you respect a guy like that. What does it say about a guy like that where he seems like he's an awesome teammate too? I mean, I know it's not the end all be all, but when you put that on top of it, to me, that kind of like seals the deal when you're talking about Hall of Fame and just like people are going to vouch for that guy for the rest of his life.
Well, Jay, let me give you an example. Those kids that are dapping him up are 23.
No, but that's the thing, Beck. It wasn't even just them. Like Hassan Reddick was dapping him. It wasn't just like he was like, oh, you respect the elder guy. Yeah. Like it was Levante, it was Hassan, and the rookie. So, and that's the thing is, I when I see it, and it's just like, oh, you're a young guy. You know what I mean? You're not getting many reps, so you give daps. I know that one.
Yep.
But it's like everybody gives Mike love because not just because they respect the guy, because he's still balling out.
Well, and he's above them, Jay. You know what I said? He just is. Like, okay, so who on the football field who has more accolades than Mike Evans? Yeah. Nobody. So I'll give you an example in my world, okay? Which would have been my 4th year maybe, Anthony Munoz came to the Buccaneers, and he was supposed to be the right tackle next to me. And the second Anthony Munoz stepped in the locker room, it was different. I'm just telling you, you can't disrespect Anthony Munoz. You can't. Who are you? What's your name? Get out of here. Anthony Munoz still today is, when you say who's the best tackles ever, you got to bring up Anthony Munoz.
Right.
Anthony Munoz came in and which would have been his last year. He wasn't the biggest guy. He was lean. He went out there, was punching cats in the face, and he just warranted respect. And Mike Evans is that guy, dude. I mean, Tom Brady was that guy. That guy doesn't come through too often. Mike Evans, sometimes Tampa Bay is spoiled. Okay, I'm just
Mhm.
telling you because we got a chance to watch Mike Evans through his whole career. We got a chance to watch Rondé Barber through his whole career. We got a chance to watch Derek Brooks through his whole career. There's a lot of players that have got a chance to come through that we've watched, and we're blessed. Okay, and Mike Evans is definitely a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, an elite player, but an elite human being too. And I think that
Facts.
an elite leader, I mean, you look at that guy, and it's just, we're very fortunate to be able to have him here. I want to ask you about, you said that you want to see guys play well in the preseason. One of the guys that really didn't play well in the preseason or in the game one was Chris Braswell. I mean, when you have a pass rush, and this is a second round pick from last year, you went out and got a Hassan Reddick. You got Hassan Reddick. You got Yaya Diaby. David Walker towards ACL. He's out for the year. So you have Anthony Nelson. He's that grind type of guy. You know what I mean? Logan Hall. Like, you have those two serviceable guys on the line and outside linebacker. But I feel like Chris Braswell, if he's not careful, Beck, we might be going down the same road as we did with the JTS thing, because I'm hearing people saying, well, he looked better. He looked better coming into camp. Like, I don't give a shit what his body looks like. What do you got to see from Chris Braswell going forward that gives you hope that he's not going to turn out to be like another JTS?
You know, it's funny. I don't think you have to be a trenches expert to answer this question, because do you see greatness, Jay?
No, man.
Okay, well, greatness shows his goddamn face, though. You know that. If you give me greatness, give me 10 plays, and greatness is gonna show its head. It's impossible. You can't hold greatness down. That's why everybody was waiting for JTS to become great, and I'm like, dude, it's freaking years in now. Like, there's still not a play you could show me that would make you think that JTS would be great. Not one play. And Braswell, can't think of one off the top of my head. And Jay, can I be honest with you? I don't know what his number is. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is not his rookie year. I don't know what his number is. That means you ain't done anything yet. So I don't want to dog the kid out, but I don't care what round you're in. Because I saw first round. Keith McCants came in the first round, and he came up against Paul Gruber in the first rush, and Paul Gruber punched him square in his face. And I go, that ain't it. In one rush. Okay? Broderick Thomas, people are like, Broderick this and that. Broderick Thomas, Broderick Thomas was a dog. Okay? So you can see football players. Football players can't hide. They can't hide from other football players, that's for sure.
How do you balance that out, Beck, right? Because there are guys that sometimes are late bloomers, but is it more of like, if they're a late bloomer, they're probably just going to be a very good player rather than a great player, an elite player? Because because the opposite's got to be true, right? As well, where guys come out of the gate, you're like, wow, that guy's going to be a world beater, and then he kind of falls off a cliff. So how do you find that balance? Where is that kind of breaking point where you go, all right, well, he got to get to this point, because if he's not good at this point, he's never going to be good?
That's a hard question to answer, because it's particular to positions. I think a defensive end or a rusher, you're going to see signs like real early if a kid can rush, okay? And if a kid can rush, doesn't mean he can play 3 downs. It doesn't mean that. So as an offensive lineman, it's going to be a little harder, because it has a lot to do with your opponents. Some people don't play well against bull rushers. Some don't play well against speed. That's why football's funny, man. I mean, quarterback position, you're going to have to struggle.
Yeah.
And they all do. And then how much do they have to depend on their supporting cast? So it's so hard. It's so hard to see that. I'm just saying, when somebody is going to be great, you can see it. Like Mike Allstott, the second Mike Allstott got on the football field, I went to Tony Mayberry, I go, what was that? I go, did you see it? Did you see that? I go, you see that little squatty son bitch do that? I go, and I would say to Mike, I go, Mike, dude, you're different. Mike was different. Warren Sapp came in.
That's Warren a good look at this. Look at this comment. Warren Sapp was much better in the second year, but Braswell's no Warren Sapp. Shout out to VA Green. But yeah, you talk about that a lot.
I was about to bring up Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
Warren Sapp wasn't good in his first year. Like I would say that if he was in the room and he looked at me and go, "You right back." But in the midst of not being good, you still saw what was fitting to come, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because when he was not being good, he wasn't being pushed all over the place.
Right.
He was still fighting. He was still talking crap. He just couldn't see things, and that's what football is, man. It's like it's so easy to look at a quarterback and tell him he's bad while he's doing the hardest thing on the planet to do as a 21-year-old kid. It's so easy to do, and I just don't. It's sometimes evaluating players, and people get caught up in the good, and sometimes they get caught up in the ugly. Okay,
Right.
sometimes it's about the whole thing. All the time, it's about the whole thing, and it's also about the way you deal with the press. Okay, because the press I've seen the press talk people down to their knees, like Ryan Leaf. Okay, Ryan Leaf snapping on that press guy. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you let them get to you like that, it's gonna be counterproductive. And it's also Ryan Leaf telling everybody, I don't really understand what's going on here. I just can't get it.
Benny says Nick Wise, best buddy Warren Sapp. Do you know what that's about?
Well, they have beef, Nick Wise and Warren Sapp.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm gonna pick Warren. Are they
in
fighting?
In the battle, the 1-on-1?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Warren.
Oklahoma drill?
And all due respect to my man Nick, but nah.
So Nick's not invited to the next dinner that we have? He's not going to sit down and eat some collards with us?
If Warren's there, nah. I'm not dealing with it.
Warren, I mean, that was so funny. For those who don't know, we're eating dinner one time, and I'm eating collard greens, and Warren looks at me, he goes, "You never mark white on the sheet, do you?" I'm like, "What the hell does that mean?" He goes, "Every time I see you hanging out with a black brother, you eating collard greens." He's like, "You never mark white on the sheet." I'm like, this dude's hilarious, bro.
Yeah, Warren's definitely entertaining. I've been going back and forth with him, and he's into his coaching thing. He loves it. He really does.
Did you get a chance to watch Shador at all?
I didn't lock in on him. I saw a couple of highlights, and I can't. Because I know it's not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
They didn't game plan for a year. There's a lot. And is it better to look good? Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you about that. Here's the Nick thing. Nick went up to Warren Sapp during the Super Bowl week, and Warren gave him a cold shoulder and got pissed that Nick was bothering him.
That's not a story. That's not a story.
That's a Thursday.
That's not a fucking story. Get out of here.
What did you make of the narrative of it was Louis Riddick and Stephen A. Smith? And that's why a lot of people because they were talking about how Shador was set up to fail. Shador was set up to fail. Why is he starting in this game? Well, 2 other quarterbacks are hurt, and your starter's not going to play. And I didn't really understand that. And the narrative, and people are like, "Oh, it's because." And Gerald McCoy actually made a nice long video about it, and he brought up a lot of good points. And he goes, "Well, these are people that don't know about ball." And I'm like, Louis Riddick played in the league, and he wasn't the only person that said Robert Griffin III. He was a quarterback in the league. I don't understand why these media heads, they get these narratives out there of all right, well, we got to protect Shador Sanders. Dude, just let him go out there and play. Let him go do his thing. The haters are going to hate. The people that are going to be Shador fans or Cleveland Brown fans are going to love regardless. I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do, but it was just one preseason game. But what do you make of the media's narrative beforehand going, "Oh, he was set up to fail by the Cleveland Browns"? I thought, why would they want him to fail?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, you shouldn't be shocked or surprised about anything that's written about Shador, because I've been watching, and I'm not a Shador fan. I'm definitely not a Shador hater. I watched him play in college. I thought he was a nice college quarterback. I'm not going to bet my house that he's going to be a great NFL player or against it, okay? Mm-hmm. But I did say this the whole way. God damn, he's getting a lot of press.
Yeah.
Positively or negatively. I'm like, they're just talking about Shador. They're not talking about anybody else. Then he slipped further than anybody, not even way further than anybody in the history of the game. Okay?
He did.
And then you got to hear Shador went 11 for 11 in practice. Who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. So it's just, all of it is too much for me. And here's the great part about it, okay? You can't tell me he's not going to be ready for the NFL because his dad been getting it ready probably his whole damn life, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me that he's not a great businessman because he just changed the NFL. He literally changed the NFL by putting that thing in his contract that said he gets a percentage of his likeness, and he's already made $14 million in jersey sales. So we can say what you want about Shador, but if you have a guy who is a 5th-round pick, like Ian Beckles, 5th-round pick, and he has the highest selling jersey in the NFL right now, some people made some mistakes, okay? Because if you have a potential starting quarterback who would be number 1 in jersey sales and you let him pass 5 times, I'd be questioning you right now.
And I don't know if you saw this, but after the game, he confronted Cleveland journalist Tony Grossi. You always say negative stuff about me. I didn't do nothing to you. I've never seen you say anything positive about me. And he was cool, calm, and collected. And you know what people say, you know, we've kind of seen this after the fact, is that happens a lot more than people realize. You just don't get it on tape.
Why would that confrontation bother anybody though? Okay,
None of it bothered. I think it's just highlighting something that maybe you know what I mean. Listen, stuff like this is probably going to happen because there's more of feedback. It's not just, oh, you're waiting for an article to come out the next day, or you're waiting for a radio show. Like, you know, you're tweeting stuff out right away. So I'm always surprised, Beck, that it doesn't happen more. Like, we don't see more. I'm surprised.
It happens a lot, Jay. It happens.
I know. I'm in the locker rooms, but I'm just saying, like, I'm surprised those confrontations don't happen more. I think the players, for the most part, they just kind of tune out and try to turn off a lot of that stuff. But some of them are active on social media. They have family members. They have friends. I'm just, for something like this, I just think it's much ado about nothing.
Well, anything with Shador is not going to be much ado about nothing because it's going to be blown up. The thing is, with the media and the players and the relationships, it's tough, man, because there's one thing that a lot of fans, and I'm going to be serious about that, fans just don't consider this. Athletes are humans.
Right.
I'm being serious about that. Oh,
No,
why is he being petty? That guy's just doing his job. Okay, so you're going to sit here 5 feet from me looking me in my face, and all you do is write negative things about me, and I'm going to talk to you like you're my friend?
Right.
I'm not built like that. You see what I'm saying? A lot of NFL players are not built like that. So I'm with you, Jay. I'm surprised there's not more confrontations. There probably is, but there's very few, media people that are important. That some of them don't even go into the locker rooms.
Right.
A lot of the ones who talk bad about people, they don't come face to face with these players. So if I did go face to face, and it's happened with me, and I confronted my guy as well, and I'm fine with that guy today. But I'm not the guy that you gonna poo me and right around the corner and then key in my face. I'm not doing that.
No, I don't know. Part of me wishes there was more of that kind of stuff, though. I think that's healthy. I think conversations like that are healthy because I feel like if you have a pen and you're writing stories, and if you're a radio host, like that's why, and I was in the minority of that working at WDAE. I thought it was maybe cowardly is too strong of a word, but I didn't feel completely comfortable giving my opinion on players and how they play if I didn't go and just be around the locker room or be around the team. Not saying that I was going to get a one-on-one with the guy, but I feel like who am I? How are you going to really believe the things I say if I'm not in there? Like, yours was different. You had a football background. So what you brought to the table as a radio host was different. You didn't have to go in the locker room because you lived in the freaking locker room. But I feel like some of our compatriots over the years, like, it's easy to say things when you don't have to face the music. And it's not just the players. It's the PR guys, because that's part of the reason why it doesn't get to that level. And you know this. The PR has to deal with a lot, teams of people. And they get in the way and they say, hey, we heard this. Or, I went on record to say something about Sergachev a couple of years ago, and I was fired up. Lightning lost 5-0 in St. Louis to the Blues that were in last place. And Sergachev played terrible. And I went on the air and I said, the reason why Ryan McDonough is not here is because this guy is. And ironically enough, a year and a half later, they traded Sergachev for Bovington back.
Mhm.
But the Lightning said, like, hey, just to remind you, we are listening. And it was like, don't check what you say, but just, be kind. And I said, okay, I'm not going to change what I have to say. But there's also respect knowing, like, they knew that here's the line, and I was like, here. And they knew, like, they just had it, they chit a little bit of a, don't be too much of a line stepper.
Mhm.
I think professional athletes appreciate if you can do that, but still go into the locker room.
I think professional athletes and men, real men,
Yeah.
they appreciate real people. Okay,
Right.
so everything I say about you, Jay, may not be on completely positive, but that I will say it right to you. Okay,
Right.
that's true. I mean, that. Okay, and I think
What's bad? What's bad? Tell me.
You don't want to get into that right now.
Come on.
Not in front of your people. Not in front of all your people.
Damn,
You know what I'm saying?
Now I feel bad.
No, you don't feel bad. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've ever said anything
No, I
negative about you before.
To my face.
And what you said about, being in the locker room and legitimizing you, there's something to that, okay?
Yeah.
There's also people in the locker room every day that still don't have legitimacy, okay?
Right.
But for myself, I thought, and I agree with what you said, but I also thought for myself, it's something that would have hindered what I did, okay? Because I didn't want to really befriend all the players, okay? Because if I just know you a little bit and you're gonna hear me dogging you, you're gonna think that I'm two-faced. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because I've said this many, many times. If I'm on an NFL football team and I'm driving in my car and I'm listening to sports radio and some guy, doesn't matter who's he played or not, is speaking negatively of the way I played, even if I didn't play well, it's going to be hard to like that person.
You're gonna feel some type of way.
But that's human nature, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ian Beckles played like crap. Like, who the hell's that? Who said that? Even if you did, you're like, Dad, why are you telling everybody that I played crap? That's
right.
just human nature. So there's a lot of angles. To me, I just like real cats, man. And listen, if you say I played poorly, that's okay. But if you say I play poorly and I play well, then we have to talk. I dislike the fact that when some people make mistakes, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you made a mistake, then go back and tell somebody you made a goddamn mistake. Because half of Tampa you read that you, who supposedly who no talent, said I played poorly and I played well, then I got a big issue with that.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, even with all the things that we have where you can go back and check stuff, people still act like they didn't say things that they said. It's just so strange. I'm not
Is it that strange? You watch politics lately?
I don't know what you're talking about, Ian. I don't understand. That's actually a perfect example of thing changing, right? What's going on at the cafe, bro? You got a big. I saw the video. You have a customer appreciation night coming up.
We do. Listen, we've gone through a lot of stuff, storms and issues and tragedies and a bunch of different stuff, and we've caught ourselves and we've changed the cafe a lot inside, and we got different furniture and a different layout. And Chris has been doing a great job of moving things around, and Ponzo's been kicking ass. So we just want everybody to be re-exposed. We love our fans, our people from Kava Social. Bodie and Sarah are going to come from Bradenton, bring some of their people. So if you're a Kava fan, if you're a Bone fan, I think Disney's going to come by. I'm trying to get John Senning here. Hopefully Jay Recher comes by and brings the Jay Recher crew. And it's going to be Saturday night at Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard from about 8 o'clock on. And we'll be celebrating. And, there's great deals on our smoke shop stuff. And come hang out and have a good time, man.
4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Go check them out today. Dignitary Cafe, Ian_Beckles on all social media platforms. It should be fun, man. I'll definitely stop by Saturday nights. That'll be fun.
Appreciate you.
Beck, appreciate your time as always, my friend. I'll see you on Wednesday.
One love.
See you, buddy. The one and only Ian Beckles, man. Doesn't get much better than that, ladies and gentlemen. What a good guy. Flash Gordon, I'm coming in late to this YouTube podcast. All I want to say right now is I saw some Falcons highlights of their 2 first-round picks. They were gushing about them. I wasn't that impressed. We're going to have to check that out, see if they can live up. I mean, but that's the thing. It's a couple of players, right? Instead of when you're talking about the Buccaneers and you're looking at teams, and you're talking about I always think about was it Ocean's 13 when Basham, Don Cheadle's character, and they're talking about the thing that's going to cause the earthquake. And he's like, they usually have teams to do this. He goes, how many people? He's like, teams. And it was just him doing it. So it's not just a couple of players. You got multiple guys, a full team of players. Gotta love this Buccaneers team and the division, man. I'd be very surprised if they don't win the division again this year. All right, let's tell you, we got to talk about my good pal, the Giannis Hammer. The Giannis Hammer, there we go. How about it? Look at him. Check him out. 813-244-0956. Go get some. You need some work done. They'll be able to help you. And the thing I love about Hammer and the crew, they're Tampa Bay sports fans. These are the kind of businesses that you want to support here in the Tampa Bay area. Look, pre-engineered metal buildings, bathroom and kitchen remodels, new and commercial construction, interior and structural renovations. Give them a shout. 813-244-0956. Honest Hammer, General Contractor Company, CGC 153116. You can hit him up via email, thehonesthammer@gmail.com. Listen, this is a guy that wanted to get on board, supporting us here on the podcast, longtime WDAE listener, a young guy that's building and building and building so many great reviews. Just go check out the website, thehonesthammer.com. The kind of guy that Russ is and the family over there at The Honest Hammer. Couldn't go to the game on Saturday. What was he going to do with those tickets? Sell them? No. Give them to friends or family? No. He said, hey, let's give them away on the Jay Recher podcast. Let's give them away so that a Bucks fan can go to the game. That is the kind of guy that he is. Huge fan of Russ and the entire crew over there. Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956. Those guys are always supporting us here on the program. You're always going to be able to see the banners and the layout here on the program. There you go right there, buddy. There's the QR code. Scan them right there. 813-244-0956. Any of your residential or commercial needs, hit up my guy Hammer. The Honest Hammer, Custom Builders, LLC. All right. Big thank you to Ian Beckles for joining us on the program today. Boy. Guys, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I told you guys on Thursday or Friday what the Rays needed to do to be successful as far as getting back into this thing and possibly making a run to make the playoffs. They needed to be 7-2 after this 9-game road trip. They needed to go, 28-18 over the last 46 games. I laid the entire thing out for them. And the fact that people thought that the Rays were going to make the playoffs and we're not giving up on the team yet. All right, fine. You don't have to give up on them. But after watching what we saw in Seattle, did they give up on themselves? That may be a little bit too harsh because, it's not for a lack of effort. Those guys are doing whatever they can to try to win. I understand that. But the demise of this team, the way it's been constructed, the way that the players have performed, the way that the coaches have coached, it has all been subpar this year. And it's just wild to me that everybody's got this pie in the sky type of attitude when it comes to the Rays. And we don't want to, everybody always wants to make excuse. The Rays fan base and the way that the Rays get covered in this town, you could put them in like certain buckets, right? You're the ultimate hater. You are a Yankee fan or a Red Sox fan. You're never going to be a Rays fan. You're in that bucket, right? The next bucket you're in is you're a disgruntled Rays fan and you're still pissed off about Kevin Cash and the Blake Snell thing, and you'll never get over it, right? That third bucket is I think you're kind of a little bit of a realist. I feel like I'm in that bucket where you think that the team should be better and you're done with all the excuses. You're done with all the woe is me. And you're like, all right, let's just progress and move forward. Then there's a fourth bucket where you kind of believe what everybody else has to say and you don't have. Yeah, well, the fourth bucket is whatever the Rays do. You follow them lockstep. Whatever decision they make is right. You don't do any type of independent thinking. Every single trade's a good trade. Every single coaching decision is a good decision. You don't think for yourself. You're a freaking robot. That's the fourth bucket. And the fifth bucket is you don't care. You're apathetic. You don't care. You're turned off. If you're a team that needs to win, wouldn't you play your best players? I don't understand. This is the perfect example of what's wrong with the Rays. And nobody has the balls to talk about this because what they do is they just say, well, the numbers say this. Okay, cool. At the end of the day, we're okay with the team making the wrong move as long as the numbers back it up. It's just such a lazy way of trying to judge how a team does or how they go about their business. Constantly playing this percentage game. At times, yes, of course you do it. Of course. But sometimes common sense has to override what the hell you're doing. The fact that you have Yandy Diaz sitting on the bench on Friday night against Luis Castillo is another one of those situations where the Rays outthink themselves. I don't give a shit who is on the mound. Randy Johnson, Oral Hershiser, the big train Walter Johnson, Maddox, Pedro, Schilling, Fernando Valenzuela. I don't care if they dig Cy Young himself out of the goddamn ground and put him on the mound. Yandy Diaz is one of the best players on your team, and he is sitting on the bench because it's like, oh, Luis Castillo is tough against right-handers. No shit, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. You don't take Yandy Diaz out of the lineup, and then, we'll put Tristan Gray out there. 0 for 3 with a poncha. But he bats lefty, so everybody feels good about it. No! We've been doing this for years. A slave to these numbers, which is crazy to me. Well, he might be tired. He's got 46 games left. What the hell is he tired for? Oh, shit. He had an off day on Thursday. So he had an off day. He's one of your best players. Jonathan Aranda's not in the lineup. Other guys ain't hitting water if they fell out of a boat. And you're like, let's play the righty-lefty thing. Let's spin the wheel. Let's put Tristan Gray out there. These are the kind of things where you question, what the hell are you doing? You have to win games. They got a lead. They blew the lead. But imagine if Yandy was in there. Even if Yandy goes 0 for 3 with a strikeout, just like Tristan Gray, you know what he does? He strikes a modicum of fear into the Seattle Mariners. Why? Because he's an established hitter. He's a former batting title winner. This is one of the best hitters, pure hitters in the game. And you're sitting him down? What the hell are you doing? You had an off day on Thursday. You have an off day coming up this Thursday. Yandy Diaz needs to be in there every single day. And if he's not in there because you're playing this stupid-ass bullshit numbers game, I mean, this is the reason why you're losing. We're getting farther and farther away from 2020. We're getting farther and farther away from the Rays being the only team that uses the right analytics and the right development strategies. It's not just the Rays anymore. The Dodgers are doing it. The Astros are doing it. The Yankees are doing it. The Brewers are doing it. All those teams are going to be playing in the postseason. What about the Rays? Shout out to my guy Fats with the $5 super chat. Love you, bro. Keeping it real. You know how I roll. It's mind-boggling to me because I continuously, and more, it hurts more now being back in the baseball world because people talk about it all the time. What do you think, Jay? Coach Jay, what do you think? What do you think about the Rays? Why don't you think people show up to the games? Why do you think it is the way it is? People that have been playing baseball longer than the Rays have been around, they can't get invested in this team because they don't like the way they operate. This isn't me. I'm not talking shit. It's just the way it is. Too many times you're watching this team and you're like, why is this guy in the lineup? And then a couple weeks ago, you have Christopher Morel up there. 0 for 3, was it? With 3 strikeouts. And you have 3 or 4 lefties on the bench. And he grounds it to a double play. This doesn't go away with more money, right? These are decisions that need to be made, that need to be decisions that are made by Eric Neander and Kevin Cash and Kyle Steiner, and the whole crew needs to get better. It needs to be better. Eric has done a lot with a little, but he's done better in the past than he's done the last 2 years. Griffin Jacks, does he look great? I still think he's going to be a starter in 2026. If you hear that anywhere else, just remember where you heard it from first here. Adrian Hauser, does that look like a guy that somebody said yesterday he looks like Aaron Savali 2.0? Get rid of Taj Bradley. Took forever to get Joe Boyle up here. You traded away Zach Littell, who's an innings eater, right? You're forgetting about guys like Drew Rasmussen, who's actually probably the best player on this team outside of Junior Caminero. The decisions have to be better, and it's not just the decisions that are made within the margins. A lot of people talk about the decisions when it comes to the Rays, and they always want to fall back on the money. Like, oh, they don't have money to make this decision, and they have to operate in the fine margins, and everything they do is so, one way or the other. That's bullshit to me. That's bullshit. In-game decisions have nothing to do with how much money these guys make. Nothing. It doesn't matter. If that was the case, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, and the Mets would win every single World Series. It doesn't happen like that. But again, half of the people in this freaking town that support this team, your head's in the sand. Pay attention to what's going on. The other half, they don't even pay attention. That's why, as great as it would be to get new people and new owners and all these different things, like, this team needs an entire organizational reboot. Everything. And I'm not saying firing people, but the way that they look about going about their business needs to change. Does Neander and Cash and those guys deserve, or I don't know, I don't like the deserve word. Have they earned the right to be part of that new group? I would say yes. But I'm not going to sit here and tote the company line and be like, well, the Rays are giving it the good old college try, but they only have a $50 million payroll. They're going up against these juggernauts, and we should just be really happy. Here's the silver lining, and here's the moral victory for today. No. It's wild. Don't accept that stuff. Don't. We have 2 examples of organizations that do it the right way with the Bucks and the Lightning. The Rays don't. It needs to change because it's not going to turn around. And you can talk about all these guys that are coming down the pike. Carson Williams this, Xavier Isaac this, and this guy this, and this guy this. Those other teams getting better too. You got to keep it going. You got to coach better. You got to play better. You got to analyze talent better. All right, let's get back to talking about the Bucks. Standout Buccaneers over the last 48 hours. Some good, some not so good. Okay, let's start with some of the good, okay? First thing, Kyle Trask. I mean, really, the way that he's been able to step up since Teddy Bridgewater has come on board, it's been noticeable. You notice it in the game. First pass, Jalen McMillan. The way that he commanded the huddle. There was a play today where there was a bad snap from one of the young offensive linemen. Who was it? It was Majors with the bad snap. And it wasn't like, and the coaches had to come in. No, Kyle was right in there. Boom, got everybody going, got everybody back in line. I lined up, ready to go. Veteran move right there from a guy that's been around for this team for the last couple of years. Really like that. Not so good, Teddy Bridgewater. Nobody's going to say it because he just got here, but when they did 11 on 11s with him today, it was a lot of handing the ball off, but some of the drills that they had today, and I don't mean to laugh, but some of the throws were just so poor from Teddy, and it was just like, that's okay. Like, nobody was mad, but it was just kind of a look around like, oh shit. Like, he hasn't thrown the ball in a while. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. The reason why I bring it up is not to like dog Teddy. That's not the point. The point is that Kyle is way ahead of him. He's so far ahead when it comes to just preparedness. So don't be so quick of like, if you're a Bridgewater guy and he comes out maybe and plays a couple of good snaps against the Steelers coming up this week, oh, get rid of Kyle Trask. Whoa. If that's going to happen, it's not going to happen early on. It'll happen maybe late in the season. I don't see them getting rid of Kyle Trask either. So just pump the brakes on that. Good. Ryan Miller. This kid, for Ryan Miller to be able to come out every single year and just continuously go out there and just do the little things and just ball out. I can't say enough nice things about this guy. And he goes and he gets banged up. And when he gets banged up, you start wondering like, oh man, could it be I won't say it's a long-term thing, but you worry because he had such a good preseason opener. He comes out of the game, goes back into the game. But Ryan Miller, man, I really, really like what he was all about. He's just like Chan says here, he's a football player. He's a football player. We say that about like baseball guys. He's a baseball player. And the bad thing too, he's an athlete. He looks like an athlete. I hate that. He's a player. He's a baller. He's a dog. That's what I want to hear. That's what Ryan Miller is. And unfortunately for him, or not for him, but unfortunately for another guy at that position, Rakim Jarrett, who I've been, pounding the table for Rakim Jarrett the last couple of years. Good player. He's going to be able to get some time here and there. Only when a guy gets banged up. But it just looks like with some of these other guys playing well, I would say his days are numbered with the Buccaneers. I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the time to kind of, just because when you're talking about the numbers game, right? You look at the top four, Evans, Godwin, Ibuka, McMillan, right? That's your four. They love Tej Johnson. And there's plays with him. There's plays for him in the playbook already. He's in 5. Ryan Miller, the next Sterling Shepard, that's 7. And then 2 other guys we're going to talk about here. But that's 7 guys. That's not mentioning Cam Johnson either. So that's 8, right? So it's going to be an uphill battle. And Rakim really hasn't done much to really have him stand out amongst the rest. And when you have like Ryan Miller and this next guy, Garrett Green, former quarterback at West Virginia, I mean, they're showing more upside. They're showing their ability to make more plays. And it just seems like every day in practice, you saw him have a couple of grabs in preseason too. Garrett Green, he's done everything that the Buccaneers have asked him. So when you look at Miller, when you look at Green, Tej Johnson, that's 7 guys right there. I think it's going to be an uphill climb for Rakim Jarrett. And when you have Sterling Shepard, that's a guy put on the practice squad, get him back in the middle of the year, right? Or just have him around. He's not going to play for anybody else. He's playing with Baker. So it's not good for Rakim Jarrett. What do we have here? Do not get rid of Kyle. Is he going to step in and take his team to the Super Bowl? Nobody is sufficient enough to run this offense. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's tough to tell because it's just one preseason game. And maybe Teddy is the better guy in the long run. But as of right now, I don't think there's any, when you look at the entire thing, I wouldn't be so quick. I'm like that. I am like that. Don't be so quick to get rid of coaches. Don't be so quick to get rid of players. Remember, people were talking about get rid of Rashad White. And if you're just joining us, Todd Bowles said a little bit earlier today that day-to-day with the groin injury is with Rashad White. Did I post the I want to see if I posted it so you guys can take a look for yourself. Oh, I did. Okay, here we go. You guys take a look. You tell me what you think. I forget about. It's funny. You tweet out something, you forget about what you tweeted. Here, you guys take a look at Rachaad White. You tell me, what do you think about Rachaad? How does he look walking out to practice today? There you go. Full screen it for you guys. All right, what do you think? Rachaad walking out to practice. How does he look to you, your naked eye? I mean, it's just a casual stroll, right? A casual stroll. I mean, he didn't look like he was like, he wasn't. There was no hitch in his giddy up. He wasn't like stumbling along. And again, we did see that with Bryce Hall, the veteran corner that missed pretty much all last year after breaking his leg in week 1. He looked like a guy that was that didn't look great. But Rachaad just kind of looked like it was just a nice leisurely stroll. We know with those groin injuries, there's nothing you could do but just kind of stay with it. He's probably going to get treatment on treatment on treatment. Lady Evil in the house. What's going on, pal? Doesn't look too bad. I am with you. And you got Sean Tucker, too. So there's no reason to kind of rush him back. I don't think it's going to be long-term, but day-to-day when it comes to what I got Todd Bowles, said about Rachaad White. All right, a couple more goods and not so good. One good is Luke Gedeke. I mentioned it before. If you just joined us, there was a rep today in one-on-ones, outside linebackers against the tackles, and it was one of the most dominant reps that we've seen all camp long. And it was with Luke Gedeke just stonewalling Hassan Reddick. And Reddick was giving him the business, trying to give him the business, and Luke was just doing his thing. And it's just, again, I said this before, iron sharpens iron. It's not a bad thing about Hassan. It's just, hey, you won that rep. But I don't know if a player has gotten better in the last 3 years. Who's gotten better than Luke Gedeke? Zion, maybe? Maybe those two guys? Which Bucks player has improved the most over the last 2 seasons? Not including this one, the last 2. I think Luke Gedeke's got to be that guy. Tristan Wirfs, the ability that he has had to go from right tackle to left tackle, being all pro in both, first person ever. But also the wherewithal that Jason Light and the Buccaneers have, saying, we're going to do this. We're going to move our all-pro right tackle to the left and not skip a beat because of not just Tristan being able to handle that change, but Luke Gedeke going from left guard to right tackle. Still, I wonder what's more impressive. I should have asked Ian. That's a great question. What's more impressive, or who's done a better job? Because I think when you look at it, Luke Gedeke went from a left guard where it wasn't too great to a right tackle where I think he's one of the best in the game. Tristan was one of the best to one of the best, right? So, I mean, he's the man, right? First round pick. So he went from being up here to being up here. Luke went from being down here to being up here. So I'm probably more impressed by what Luke's been able to do than what Tristan's been able to do. That's a good guy. We'll ask Ian that on Wednesday. More impressive. There you go. I got to make a note because I'll forget it. Not so good. Cody Mauch. Cody Mauch had a really tough time today on one of the reps against Greg Gaines. And listen, Greg Gaines is your backup, right? I don't know what to make of Cody Mauch. I think he's a guy that's going to get better. I think he has gotten better. But is he the weakest link on the offensive line? Probably, right? Today's rep did not look good. It did not look good. Now, to be fair, Cody Mauch had a rep the other day where he flung Jeffrey Simmons on the ground. Tennessee Titans standout defensive lineman. That was badass. So I'm not saying he sucks. I'm not saying he's bad, but the rep today against Greg Gaines, the backup, it did not look good. he's a guy I'm going to keep an eye on, because what happens is you don't have Tristan for how many games. You're looking for everybody else to step up, and obviously Charlie Heck's going to be the guy that you look at first and foremost, because he's coming right in at the left tackle spot. But it means your other 4/5 of your offensive line really need to be at the top of their game. Bredesen next to Heck, Graham Barton in year 2 as the center, Cody Mauck at right guard, and then obviously Luke Gedeke at right tackle. So keep an eye on Cody Mauck, not just in some of the practices, but also in the preseason games too. Back to the wide receivers. I mentioned this guy a little bit before, Garrett Green. Good. Really like what I've seen from him so far. Not so good, Jacob Harris. They like Jacob Harris. He's a big guy. Signed him late in the camp. He fumbled. Also had a holding call. But all the physical tools, he's a mismatch problem for opposing DBs. He towers over guys. But this is the thing. When you're looking at these players, we talk about this with, when everybody's like, oh, this guy's better than this guy. It's not just like who's faster, who scores more touchdowns. Like, it's about the reliability factor. Part of the reason why Emeka Egbuka is so damn good, it's not just the fact that he's smooth out there and he runs all the routes and, he can catch the football. It's the reliability factor. It's knowing that he's going to be in the right spot. If these guys break off their route too early and the quarterback throws it and it's a pick six back the other way, on the surface, it's like, I can't believe what the quarterback did right there, right? To the everyday fan. But for the team, they'll know, like, dude, you can't cut off your route there. Or, dude, you ran the wrong route. Hey, the option route, you screwed this up. There's a reliability that you're going to be where you're supposed to be. There's a reliability when it comes to, as a wide receiver, blocking in the running game. There's a reliability when it comes to the running back picking up the blitz right on third down. This is why, another reason why I said, don't be so quick to get rid of a guy like Rashad Evans, MMA on the braid, Rashad White. Because Bucky, that's one of the things he struggles with. Sean Tucker, can he do a better job? Yeah. But just be cognizant when you're trying to look at certain players and think, this guy's good, this guy's not good. There's a lot that goes into it. All right. Lastly, and these are two guys that were drafted last year going into year 2. I'm going to start with the not so good, and that's Chris Braswell. For Chris, there was one play when we were in the indoor facility when I'm watching him and I go, man, he's got some pop to him. He really, he hit the brake. I mean, he hit the pad, and I was like, okay, taking a step up. But this was a guy that looked a little lean coming in last year, and everybody was saying he's got to put on more muscle. He's got to get used to, playing in NFL schedule. Then this year, it's like, well, he looks lean. That's a good thing. And I'm like, wasn't he lean last year? I thought he was supposed to get bigger. Like, it's weird. Like, I got to start writing down these narratives in camp because remember Payne Durham was the guy that he was just an offensive threat. He can't block. Now it's like, oh, he's a blocking dynamo. And he had a pass go through his hand stay. It's like, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? When I look at Chris Braswell, he's got to do something, and he's got to do it fast. Because I do worry about having a little bit of that JTS syndrome where it's like, oh, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. He's a great athlete, does this well. Nah, man, you got to show incremental progress at the very least. You saw a guy like Antonio Greer today. We saw what he was able to do at USF. He goes to Arkansas, and he gets a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. He made an incredible play breaking up a pass in the end zone. I think it was on a pass to, might have been Devin Culp. That's what you got to see. Now, greatness does show itself early. But if you're not going to be a great player and you're going to be a very good player, you're going to be a serviceable player, you got to see the incremental steps. You got to see the progress. Didn't do this well. All right, now he's doing this well. He didn't play much, but when he did get in there, boom, this is what he was able to do. When you're going into a game like you did on Saturday night and you're Chris Braswell, and as a second-round pick, you're still playing in that game, that's an alarm. That's a warning sign. playing as much as he did, it shows you that you're not at the top of the depth chart. So you're going to get a lot of opportunities. He did get a lot of opportunities and didn't make the most of them. The pass rush it wasn't great. And he's a guy that they're kind of banking on, like, all right, dude, take that next step forward. Once again, with David Walker out for the year, he's a guy that has to step up. Now, it's not just him. We know that. Jose Ramirez has to step up. Marquise Watts has to step up. Those are the two other guys that, all right, now could be an opportunity for you to get that OLB3 spot. I'm not even counting Anthony Nelson because we know what he does. He's solid as a rock. He's not going to be a 10-sack guy. But he's available, good against the run. He comes up with big plays. It's just he's a OLB 3 or 4. Fine. No issue with that whatsoever. Now you look at another second-year player, and you look at Jalen McMillan. And for all the talk about Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan is the guy that when you're watching him, you're watching a guy that is going about his business in a way that he's going about it the right way. And here's the example. Last year, going into the season, the wide receiver 3 spot was between who? Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer. And while Trey did have some good moments, there wasn't anything where it was just like, okay, this guy's not backing down and he's going to battle to the very end. And he just kind of fell off as the year went on. And I didn't even mention him. I was just talking about wide receivers, and I didn't even mention Trey Palmer. So that's another guy to add to the list doesn't bode well for a guy like Rakim Jarrett. But from what you've seen from Jalen McMillan, he's going about his business again in a way where you're like, that's it right there. He makes that first catch in the preseason game, and he's fired up. Didn't play much. He wasn't going to play a lot. But make the most of the opportunities that you get. I thought he looked really good in practice today. He really good. Another guy that is getting pushed by Emeka Egbuka. He knows the deal. He knows what everybody's saying. But he's pushing and pushing, going, hey, I was the guy last year everybody was saying could play 3 different spots. I was the guy last year saying that, hey, he was a consummate professional and remind you a little bit of Chris Godwin. I mean, Emeka reminds you a lot of Chris Godwin, not just a little. But listen, let's say Chris doesn't come back. He's not 100%. Let's say this is Mike's last year. And you go into 2026 as Emeka Egbuka and Jalen McMillan as your top 2 guys. Is that enough? Probably not, but it's a damn good start. But what is his mindset? I said this to start the show today. I love watching the response. Show me a team's response. Show me a player's response. How does a team respond when they lose a game? How does a team respond when they lose one of their best players or a call goes against them? How does a player respond when you bring in another guy for his spot? Kyle Trask has responded in kind to Teddy Bridgewater being brought in. Jalen McMillan has responded in kind to Emeka Egbuka being drafted. So good on that young man. And we'll see what happens going forward. They're going to need as many of their pieces as humanly possible. But from what I've seen, and I said this before, I really like what I've seen from the Bucs. There's a lot to like about this team. It makes you feel real good about going out on the limb and saying, I think this is going to be a damn good football team. I'd be very surprised if they didn't make it to the NFC Championship game this year. Washington's going to regress. I think Philadelphia, we'll see. They're still the team to beat. I think Detroit's going to regress. Not having the same, you're losing your starting center in Frank Ragnow. You have a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Listen, it's about fine margins, right? I'm not saying Detroit's going to be bad. I still think they're going to be damn good. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. But when it's like this, that's when you start looking at certain players on the Buccaneers, when you start going toe-to-toe, and be like, that's where you might have the edge. Win an extra game in the regular season, get a home playoff game, right? You go from being a team that, maybe 12-5 didn't get you home field advantage. Well, maybe it does when Detroit loses a player or two, right? Maybe instead of them being, 13-4, maybe that injury knocked them down a couple of pegs. Maybe they're 11-6. Maybe you get to host the NFC Championship game. those are the fine margins that we're talking about when it comes to the end of the season. And as long as they continuously put themselves in that position to be in contention, I mean, sky's the limit for the Bucs. I like it. Very, very exciting when it comes to this team. No more training camp practices. They head on the road to Pittsburgh. They got a joint practice up there. And then the preseason game coming up this weekend. Really, really good stuff, man. I'm getting the itch, man, for football. I cannot wait till it's here. That game coming up August 16th. So that'll be what, Saturday night? Saturday nights. Season. Yeah, Saturday night, 7:00 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the preseason finale against the Buffalo Bills, August 23rd, 7:30 p.m. At Raymond James Stadium. Cannot wait for that. Did you see this really awesome story from USF? And if you want to read the story, go to usfbulls.com. I just want to share. Oh, Lady Evil's going to the game on. Oh, good for you. Make sure you send a bunch of pictures. Take a bunch of pictures and send them over to us. USF is starting a new tradition over there with this football team. And what they're doing is they are awarding the number 63 to one defensive lineman every year. And this year it's Josh Sheliscar. And this is in honor of the late, great Leroy Selman, who we know is just one of the greatest people to ever grace the Tampa Bay area. I got a chance to meet Leroy one time. I was not in the I was not in the media at that time. I was actually at his restaurant. He came over and talked, and I was coaching baseball at the time, and he couldn't have been more generous with his time. And you look at what USF has now decided to do, beginning the new tradition, honoring him with a legendary 63. It couldn't be a more beautiful thing to see. Alex Golosh, this will be a great way to carry on the legacy of Leroy Selman throughout our program. It's a really neat deal for USF football. I think Josh is super fired up about it, and really honored. Wearing that number 63 will signify someone who has worked and shown a level of integrity, athletic ability, and academic excellence, all the traits that I've heard about since I got here to USF that defined Leroy Selman. And to me, and I get it, right? There's going to be, you never won a championship. So people out there are going to say, this guy's the best player. This guy's the best player. I mean, for me, and this is not taking anything away from anybody else, because you know how much I love, the all-time Buccaneer guys as human beings. To me, the greatest Buccaneer of all time is Leroy Selman. I don't, what he was able to do when this franchise was at its lowest, and what he was able to do as a man, he was the freaking defensive player of the year. And I know Sapp won one, I know Brooks won, I get that, but Leroy pulled this team out of obscurity. He pulled this team from the gutter and put them on the map, and then stayed here, and then helped build USF, got him into the Big East. He was their athletic director. The Selman Expressway. I mean, right? Think about it. Like, this guy left an indelible mark on our city. Forget about sports. People remember going to Leroy Selman's and them burgers that they have. Fire. Chicken sandwich. I love that damn chicken sandwich. I miss their food. It was so damn good. But you think about all the people that met Leroy Selman. People. He was a great man. And when you talk about a guy that was a great man and then a freaking Hall of Fame football player, I know he didn't win a championship, but to me, and I know the list is going to come out, top 50 Buccaneers of all time, I got Sapp as 2, I got Brooks as 3, I got probably Mike as 4, but number 1, Leroy Selman. That impact went beyond the football field. And now, when you see what USF has done, honoring this man by awarding number 63, and it was great because his son and his widow were there as well. Leroy Jr. playing obviously at USF. That's the kind of stuff that breeds a fantastic culture. And when things go wrong, that's how you can look side to side and be like, hey, we're going to be able to get out of this. I could not be happier for Leroy's family, Josh Elskar and his family, and USF getting closer and closer to that season opener against Boise State. I'll definitely try to make it out to practice now that there's no more USF or no more Bucks practices. And go read the story, gousfbulls.com, that I just put up by Joey Johnston. Joey Johnston, the historian. If there was ever a guy that was going to write about the history of Tampa Bay sports, it's going to be our pal Joey Johnston. I'm going to try to get him on the show this week to be able to talk about this team. Someone was the greatest number one pick in all of NFL history as a player and as a human being. Buck fans could be very proud of how Leroy became our greatest pick ever. That's a great job out of you, Tony. Could not have said that better. In the end, the NFC Conference Championship will be Bucks versus Eagles. Bucks will win. Lady Evil with the super chat. Thank you, Lady Evil. You are the best. You want to help out the super chat? $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, whatever you can do to help, please do. And if you want to be a sponsor, hit me up. I'm going to keep this train rolling. All right. Finish up with some of the other things that happened this weekend in the NFL. When you look at, the scary. What happened to Norris from Detroit, the safety? Oh, my God. He was carted off the field, put in an ambulance. The game between the Falcons and the Lions, they just cut it off, and that makes a lot of sense. And then you see the video a day or two later of him just like convulsing on the field, and your heart goes out to this guy and his family. You hate to see videos like that, right? There's videos of everything nowadays, so less and less things are going to be able to be, kept behind closed doors. But God, man, have you ever seen somebody have a seizure or somebody convulsing like that? It's just, whoo. It hits you in the feels, man. And I was a kid, and I don't know if I've said this before, but I was a kid that when I was a baby, in my first 12 to 18 months of living, I had a ton of ear infections and had a ton of convulsions, like mini seizures. And like I was able to, kind of grow out of it. I wonder if some of the health issues that I have over the years, like, my ability, like sometimes when I get sick, I get really sick. Maybe when I get older, is it going to affect me a little bit more? Because like my sisters and my brother didn't have anything to do with that. Does it have anything to do with my migraines that I get all the time? But yeah, man, it's I give my parents a lot of credit. I'm like, I don't know how you had 3 other kids after me, but shout out to Norris and his whole family. My gosh, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Other news in the NFL, Landon Dickerson injured in practice. He exited on the cart, veteran offensive lineman for the Eagles. Alexander Madison, running back for the Dolphins, long time with the Minnesota Vikings. He's out for the season. Matthew Stafford doesn't practice despite his expected return. You start wondering, and Tyjae Spears, he's out for the rest of the preseason. He got banged up in the game against the Bucs. You look at this NFL preseason, and you're wondering, do we really need to still have these games? As much as it is great to be able to find the diamonds in the rough, and people talk about the Victor Cruzes of the world, right? There's so many more injuries that happen, right? Just like, I don't know. Eventually, we're going to get to a point where you're just going to start the season. It's such a fit, and I look at other games, and you look at baseball and basketball, they're not as physical as football, man. There's not a car crash to start every single play at the line of scrimmage. I don't know, man. I think they need to be smarter, and especially with some of these guys, like there's got to be a better way. And you see with the caps now, the Guardian caps, it's gotten better, but it's rough, man. Shout out to the team in Pennsylvania that won the Little League Softball World Series. We haven't seen that as much we have seen more actually over the last couple of years, where you're seeing more love to softball and female sports, which I think is great. For so many years, it was just Little League World Series, just the baseball. Now you get the softball in there. So shout out to Pennsylvania. I saw the Philadelphia Phillies actually make a nice little Twitter post for that. So that's really, really good stuff. Shout out to Crystal Palace winning the Community Shield there, where the FA Cup winners take on the Premier League winners, and they beat Liverpool in a shootout 3-2. So they win via the PKs there. And then we'll end with this, guys. AP Top 25 just released. Texas number 1 with 25 overall votes. No surprise there with Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning leading the way. Then you have Penn State, Drew Aller, and James Franklin there at number 2. Ohio State at number 3 after winning the national championship last year. Dabo Swinney and Clemson at number 4. You got Kirby and Georgia at 5. Notre Dame 6. Oregon at 7. Alabama 8. LSU 9. Miami at 10. Arizona State 11. Illinois 12. South Carolina 13. The Wolverines at number 14. Florida Gators. Billy Napier at 15. SMU at 16. The Wildcats at Kansas State at 17. The Sooners at 18. Oklahoma, Texas A&M 19. Indiana, the Hoosiers, number 20. Ole Miss 21. Rocco Beck to the Iowa State Cyclones at number 22. We have Texas Tech at 23. Tennessee at 24. And rounding out the top 25, your opponent for the USF Bulls in week 1, the Boise State Crew. Boise State Cowboys. Cannot wait for that game. That is going to be amazing. Boise State. No Ashton Genty this time. What are they going to do? The Broncos. I said Cowboys. Boise State Broncos. My bad. I knew I had that wrong. All right. Boise State, USF. Will you be in attendance? August 28th. Man, we are getting closer and closer, less than 3 weeks away. Get out there and support our team, Raymond James Stadium. There we go. David Terry, your guys, Liverpool missing 3 damn penalties. WTF. What's up with your guy, Mo Salah, man? That guy has real struggle with the PKs. That's kind of funny. Man U and Arsenal kicking off the season this weekend. Cannot wait. I love getting up on the weekends and watching my footy. That is going to be unbelievable. All right, it's going to do it for me today on the program. We'll see what happens tomorrow and the rest of the week as far as where we're going to be at. Maybe out to some Rowdies training. Unfortunately, they lost 2-1 over the weekend. They did get the lead with Lewis Hilton, but unfortunately couldn't claw back and earn a result there. So shout out to our Rowdies. We'll talk more about them as the week goes on as well. Rays, let's see if they can bounce back and get back to their winning ways. They're going to need to go on an absolute tear. But after what we saw in Seattle, I'm not buying it. A big thank you to Ian Beckles for joining us on the program as he does every Monday at 12:30. Check out the Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. My guy T-Crez coming up at 3 o'clock on WDAE. Got some good guests on there as well. Guys, follow me on all social media platforms. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Come on, man. We're getting close. I want to try to get to 2,000 subscribers here in the next couple of weeks. We got to get 5,000 by the end of the year. Big shout out to our super chat, Chan Leonard, 10 and 5. You're the best, Chan. Thank you. Fats, you're the man. Lady Evil as well. If you can contribute via the super chat, please do. Every little bit helps. And of course, as always, shout out to our partner, Honest Hammer, my guy. Go check him out today. 813-244-0956. Scan the QR code right there. Residential, commercial. You just got a question, give him a shout. He'll be able to help you out. And you get a discount if you tell him that you heard it right here on the Jay Recher podcast. All right, I'm going to go rest my voice. I love you all. Thank you for the undying support. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Jay Recher podcast.